Essex Audio Theatre presents The Wireless Sings by Tim Wander. In late 1919, the Marconi Wireless and Telegraph Company started a series of high-power wireless transmission tests from their Chelmsford New Street works, the world's first purpose-built wireless factory. At first, these broadcasts were solely private and experimental company trials, with each transmission lasting for just half an hour, twice a week, and notified only to Marconi radio stations around Europe. It's very hard now to imagine the excitement generated as the ordinary public heard speech and music in the headphones of their crystal sets for the very first time. Through it all, the Marconi engineers had no idea that they were both making history and changing the world forever. But it had all begun amongst the mud, chaos, barbed wire and water-filled shell holes of the First World War.
Yeah, it's funny, you know. They started calling it the Great War. Why? I really don't know. I'll tell you now. It's anything but great. Year after year of waste and death and destruction in the mud and cold of France. I remember all my friends. They didn't get back, you know. Some corner of a foreign field. That's a real crock. Most of them were never found, blown to bits or just drowned in the mud. I had some really good mates, you know. If the whiz-bangs didn't get them, then the gas did, or the snipers, or the dysentery. Great war. War to end all wars? God, I hope so.
Victory? They tell us it's coming. Maybe soon. Or maybe not at all. Maybe just another stalemate. But we're so very tired of the war and the trenches, the gas and the wire and the machine guns and going over the top. It's a nightmare. We can't wake up.
4 stinking years. It was all meant to be over by Christmas. He told me 6 months, chest full of medals, and you could come home a hero. All the girls love a soldier. Now this hell has dragged all us Tommies into the summer of 1918. Can you believe it? Most of us are just praying for it to end, however that end comes.
Roger, Baker 27. I read you 5x7. I say again, 5x7. Confirming your shell full. Confirm 2 rounds HE. Grid reference Alpha Charlie 27. Repeat, Alpha Charlie 27. Confirmed. Over.
I'll tell you what, it's bloody lucky we have this wireless system working now. We can actually talk to the flying call lads, the artillery boys, and even if we have to, even the Ruperts back at headquarters.
Yeah, sure beats being up in that damn balloon basket, waving flags and flashing lights and getting shot at by everyone, including your own side. Now that was completely career limiting.
It's just such damn hard work keeping the kit going. These wretched glass tubes in the wireless set give no end of trouble. Sometimes we even have to hold a match under the end of them just to get them to work. Look at these. Burnt sausage fingers, they call this. I call it bloody painful. Especially on a cold day, which is every day round here.
Yeah, too right. But at least the valves are better than those damn crystal sets we had when we started. I swear, a breath of wind and they'd lose the signal. And getting it back? Well, it was a kind of magic to get any noise out of it at all.
Yeah.
But it could be worse.
You know, a funny thing happened just the other day. I was waiting for a call from the battalion aid station on the wireless, and instead I heard that French operator up the line playing his violin over the wireless system.
Get away.
And by the way, they call it a radio now, probably because it radiates out or some such. Anyway, the music sounded right good, it did, so me and some of the lads in the ops room, well, we sang a little ditty back to them for fun. And because we were running into the big wire area up the tree stump, people heard it all over the trench system. I swear I heard them singing along as well. What a laugh.
You know, when this little lot is over, I reckon this radio lark has a great future. Perhaps even every house will have one. I mean, there could be hundreds of stations. Music, news, sports. I bet they even put them in those newfangled automobiles. Well, yeah, you may laugh, but why not? The aeroplanes up there already had them, and it's only 1918. Yeah, I know you think I'm dreaming and it'll never happen in a million years. Well, I mean, look at the size of all this kit. It takes 2 blokes to shift it, and if you move it, the bits break. Of course, the military might never allow us to tell about it, because at the moment it's all very secret stuff. But I tell you, everyone really knows about it because we use it every day. So secret's not really going to be an issue for much longer.
Maybe one day everyone will have a small radio in their pockets so they can talk to their mates down the street. Perhaps even in the next town. Anyway, enough of this dreaming. I guess we still have a war to try and win.
So, finally it's all over. It's finally ruddy over. The war to end all wars. God, I hope so. Anyway, it's back to the real world for me now. I wonder what it's going to be like.
I still got all my arms and legs, and apart from smoking too many woodbines, when I get a good bath and rid of a few lice, I'll be all ready for a bit of peace. My uncle's working for Mr. Marconi's wireless company up in Chelmsford in Essex. I think he can get me a job. They made all our military radios, and we all trained with the company down at Marconi House in London when we were learning all the radio stuff. They even taught me Morse code. He says there's going to be a big business in building high power transmitters. I heard tell of over 6,000 watts.
Blimey.
Hell, we only had 100 on a good day, and we could reach miles. Mind me, we still got some nasty shocks off it.
Just think, if they can make it work with that kind of power, then you could hear it all over the country. Maybe all over the world. And remember all us that made it home? We all know how to build the kit to listen in. It's actually really easy. As long as the missus doesn't mind the aerial hanging from the clothesline.
This is BBC
I
Essex.
wonder what they can dream up. God, they might even take on the musical and try and entertain us all. At least it's got to be a better world than that one.
MZX calling, MZX calling. This is the Marconi valve transmitter in Chelmsford, England, testing on a wavelength of 2,500 metres. How are our signals coming in today? Can you hear us clearly? I will now recite to you my usual collection of British railway stations for test purposes. The Great Northern Railway starts at King's Cross, London, and the North Western Railway. Ruislip 9:21, 10:30 and 11:26. Then, well, that concludes our half-hour telephony transmission test for today, transmitting Bradshaw's train timetables. This is Marconi Station, MZX Chelmsford. We are closing down. Thank you, good night. So, that's another one done and dusted, but it's really hard work reading this damn train timetable from cover to cover every day. I tell you, Mr. Round, it is making both my tongue and my soul somewhat weary.
Well, Bill, we can't have that, and I think I may have a solution. Arthur Burrows came round this morning. He was just up from the new Marconi publicity department down in the Strand. They may be driving you dotty, but apparently some of the radio hams have been listening in and rather enjoy your train timetable recitals, old man. He even suggested that we read out of a real book, or perhaps even a newspaper for tomorrow's test. Arthur says, keep it precise and punctual. But really, only our boys should be listening anyway.
Damn capital idea. I'll pick a newspaper up at the station in the morning. Better keep it light. Maybe I'll read some sports results.
He also thought we should try and transmit some musical instruments, or even try a singer. That would stretch the microphone and transmitter circuits a little.
Well, Arthur is always full of ideas. Mind you, I hear tell that there is a group of musical-minded bodies in the works. Mr. White is apparently something of a wizard on the ivories. Also, Mr. Beeson plays the clarinet and his friend plays the oboe. We could try each one in turn.
Actually, that could be very useful. I have some ideas for testing and improving the microphone, but I never seem to find the time. Some different audio frequencies would give me a good test range, and I could see what it does to the valve modulation.
Just as long as it doesn't sound anything like Bradshaw's. I go to sleep at night counting the intermediate stations between London and Chelmsford. It is slowly but surely driving me mad.
Ah, well, never mind. At least we had some good signal reports from yesterday's broadcast. 5x7 at Ballybunion, faint but readable at St John's, Newfoundland. Paris was all right as well. Quite pleased with that, really.
Not bad, but I don't think we can get much more out of this one. When's the new 15 kilowatt transmitter due out of the works?
Well, it should be ready for June. But Burrows seems to have a bee in his bonnet about clarity, range and reliability. Thinking about it, none of those terms should ever be attributed to the publicity department.
My only concern is interference. I bumped into Peter Eckersley down at the machine shop this morning. He reckons he can hear us clearly on the fillings in his back teeth over at Writtle, and he doesn't even need an aerial, just his pipe. He told me to tell you that he has to go home to Whittam just to stop his mouth from vibrating and his lips from falling off.
I'm sure he loves us, but I think deep down inside he really just wants to play with our high-power transmitters. His research department over in Writtle is backed up to the eyeballs with airborne jobs, and his Croydon air traffic control system has only just gone operational.
Well, they definitely do some good work. But I hope you checked his motorcycle panniers and his pockets. Last time he visited, we lost 2 condensers and an output bottle. I think that damned hut of his is a magnet for wayward and homeless parts. And his Writtle boys are a law unto themselves.
Yes.
I tried to hire Noel Ashbridge and Harry Kirk to come and work on this project. Some of their ideas on the AD radio series are top-notch, but they're fiercely loyal to Peter. They all seem to prefer a battered old ex-army hut in a flooded field in the middle of nowhere to the main factory and the big transmitters.
Yes. Well, let's pack this up now. We have a heavy day of transmitting tomorrow. I hope the station's new sounds will be up to the new listeners' standards.
Don't worry if they don't like it. I can always sack the lot of them. Defendant's solicitor refused to comment. And that concludes today's speech telephony transmission test of the Daily News. This is Marconi Station, MZX, Chelmsford. We are now closing down. Thank you.
Well done, Phil. Much better. Half the works took an early tea break to listen in. I particularly like your pronunciation of the Scottish places. Very south of the border. It also seems our man Burrows has already been on the telephone again, asking what we've been playing with. His telephone's been ringing off the hook ever since you stopped Bradshaw's. Seems the radio hams really liked your newspaper rendition. In fact, I think Mr. Burrows is coming up to see you personally. He wants a quote for tomorrow's newspaper and a photograph of you next to the beast. So, pipe in or pipe out.
Oh, deep joy and hell and damnation. Don't these people realise we're busy? I didn't do it for any of them. It's only meant to be a signal test for the stations around Europe. Now it will be the same type of chaos as when my voice went across the Atlantic from Ballybunion. So what if I was the first European to transmit his voice from the old world to the new? I ask you, what a lot of fuss and nonsense. Fessenden did it by accident 20-odd years ago, but the newspapers wouldn't leave me alone. One time I even had to hide in the guest house.
Bill, keep your hair on. Remember, good publicity means good engineering budgets. Burrows is apparently really keen for us to try some music. I spoke to Mr. White over in research. He sorted out a plan for tomorrow's concert and found a local group, Freddie and the Funyuns. Apparently, they usually play across the road in the pub on the corner.
Oh, all right, but we'll have to explain everything to them. Remember, they've never seen a transmitter, microphone, and probably never even heard a radio transmission. We'll be working with complete novices. If there's a wire to trip over, I guarantee they'll find it.
Well, let's just get them here first. I have some ideas for a new microphone, but I still think we'll have problems transmitting more than 1 or 2 instruments at the same time.
Or maybe I could hum the highlights of the 8:17 to 15:35 from Bradshaw in the gaps.
Good morning, gentlemen. What a stir you've made. Did you see the crowd at the New Street gate? I counted 30 people, all asking when the next news transmission would be. Well done, very well done indeed.
Well, that depends if Bill managed to buy a newspaper at the station this morning. We only got halfway down page 3 before we ran out of time and thought we'd better skip all the adverts.
Oh, quite right. No time for commercials on the radio. But I think we should try some music. Can we transmit some musical interludes?
Gentlemen, can I remind you this is all still an engineering test? I'll read what I want to as long as the Marconi stations are listening. Anyone else is just getting a free show.
Yes, I understand that, but we must control this and move quickly. It would be very good publicity for the company.
Speak for yourself. Today I was told that my voice sounded sort of funny by the girls in the canteen. They also think I should be a little less formal.
Well, that's all well and good, but I've agreed with the management that tomorrow night we'll do a transmission with the local music group. I can't remember their names just now.
Well, the singer is called Miss Winifred Sayer. Apparently she's quite good.
Yes, that's right. She's also coming in with a group.
Is anyone listening to me? I tell you we'll have problems. Transmitting a voice and musical instruments at the same time, it just won't work.
I'm sure you'll do the best you can.
Well, tomorrow's another day. Now it's time for tea. See you all in the morning. This head cook and bottle washer is going home.
I'm sorry, Bill. I've been trying all day with Mr. McLaren from research. The piano just will not transmit properly. Whatever I do with the microphone, it howls around, and the valves are absolutely hated.
Yeah, I thought so. We also tried a clarinet and oboe the other day. They just squeaked terribly.
So, what do we do with our guest artistes tonight? We can't send them home, and they can't stand around for an hour.
Well, I think they will have to. At least Arthur has already paid them. Let's just try and put some sort of a show on. Maybe we can get the singer to perform unaccompanied. The microphone and transmitter should be able to do that with no problem, as long as they don't shout.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Are we all ready?
Well, Arthur, it's good news and bad news. The good news is the transmitter is good. The aerials are good. I even looked out of the window and I personally checked this morning. You will be pleased to hear that both the 450-foot masts are still there. Oh, and the microphone is sort of ready, but not really good.
And the bad news?
I'm sorry, Arthur. At the moment, we just can't transmit music. The microphone just won't do it. We've tried just about everything.
So, what's the plan?
Well, old man, in the best tradition of the performing arts, we are going to wing it. The show will go on.
Good evening, lady and gentlemen. Welcome to Marconi's at New Street. Please come in. My name is Mr. Ditcham.
Yes, thank you. Hello, Mr. Ditcham. My name is Winifred Sayer, and we're the singers for you tonight. Your Mr. Burrows wrote to us and asked us to come in and sing and do a wireless telephony concert. But really, we're not very sure what we have to do. Oh, by the way, this is my friend, Mr. Edmund Cooper. He's also a singer, and he has a really good, rich tenor voice. We usually sing together. The rest of the band will be here in a moment, but Mr. Burrows told me at the door that they probably won't be needed. But we've brought our instruments anyway. But if we don't use them, I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Ah, and this is Captain Round. He will be in charge of the wireless equipment for the concert tonight.
Good evening, all. Tonight, I think we'll only be transmitting the singers. That's you, Miss Sayer, and Mr. Cooper. I'm told you have rather a good tenor voice.
Oh, you're too kind.
Well, at the moment, we think the best thing would be to do some tests with both of your voices. Performing alone for the moment. Let me show you where you'll be performing. Well then, here we are. I'm afraid that this is the, well, I suppose you could call it a studio. It's actually a packing shed. I don't think the acoustics are, well, perfect, and I'm afraid it is a little untidy and a bit dark and a bit cold, but never mind. Sorry about the hum. That's the generator next door, but after a while you won't notice it. Anyway, the transmitter here turns your voice into radio waves, and the radio signal goes through this wire up to the big T-shaped wire that hangs between the giant masts. From there, it is radiated all over the world, and tonight, with a little luck, we are going to make history.
I would like to ask you what we all have to do.
Well, Miss Sayer, if you could step up to... Yes, that's right. Yeah. Just stand here and give us a note. A nice long trill would be good. Nothing special, but please don't move. Anything you're comfortable with.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's very good. Thank you. I say, Bill, that really was rather good. Clear, no distortion, no problems at all. Excellent. Now, Mr. Cooper, could you do the same thing? Yes, please. Just stand in the same place.
Oh!
Yes, thank you. Well, Bill, did you see that? The valves were blushing horribly with Mr. Cooper's voice. No doubt about it. I think we'll go with Miss Sayer. Thank you both. Miss Sayer, it seems that tonight the transmitter really likes your voice. Congratulations. Tonight you will give the first live concert for the Chelmsford station. Actually, a small piece of history in the making.
So, on to the important bits. Always please try and sing at the same level. We will adjust the volume. Also, please keep the same distance at all times from the microphone here and don't move around. Not even your head. Just stare at the wall and sing on one level. There is no audience. Well, not in here anyway. And please be careful of the wires. And remember, those glass tubes are very hot and everything has live electricity, so it's very dangerous. And never ever touch that wire. And when we are transmitting, try not to touch anything metal. Hands in pockets at all times is probably best.
Yes. And please remember that anything you say and every noise you make will be sent all over the world. So no coughing, sneezing, snorting, and definitely no comments or talking or rude words of any kind. Any questions? No? Oh, very good.
And so on that evening at 7:30, MZX went on the air, and Bill Ditcham announced that, for a change, listeners were to hear a lady vocalist. Winifred stepped up to the microphone and sang Absent, written in 1899 by Catherine Young Glenn. Why did she choose this song? Well, because it was short.
Sometimes between long shadows on the grass, the little truant waves of sunlight pass. My eyes grow dim with tenderness the while, thinking I see thee, thinking I see thee smile. And sometimes in the twilight gloom apart, the tall trees whisper heart to heart. From my fond lips the eager answers fall, thinking I hear thee, thinking I hear thee call.
This first Marconi concert was a great success. Now, for a brief period from the 23rd of February until the 6th of March 1920, the Chelmsford engineering tests became a regular, scheduled series of 30-minute broadcast radio programmes. It seemed that the future of radio broadcasting was looking very bright.
Mr. Ditcham, have you heard the news?
Now then, lad, slow down. Tell me precisely what news has you running down the corridor and bursting in on me like a whirling dervish.
Sir, it's all around the factory. The great Australian singer, Dame mELBA, is coming here to Chelmsford to sing for the wireless. Our wireless is amazing. It's...
Last time this was mentioned, I recollect she called me a young magician and assured us that her voice was far too good for our magic play boxes. I wonder what changed her mind. Oh, let me guess. Probably a large amount of money.
Well, Mr. Ditcham, it looks like we've caused something of a storm. It seems that the indomitable Aussie lady is actually going to grace us with her presence and come to Chelmsford to sing for us.
So I have just been informed by our young and very excited Mr. Davidson. So I have to ask, does our esteemed publicity manager know just how much this will all cost us?
According to Mr. Burrows, absolutely nothing. Lord Northcliffe at the Daily Mail is paying the whole bill. £1,000, no less.
My word, that's a huge sum. Just think what we could do with that sort of money. I could put transmitters over half of England.
Oh, come on, Bill. Don't bang on again about a national broadcasting service. It's years away, and we have to make these beasts an awful lot more reliable.
And you need to fix the microphone before we all get lynched.
But credit where credit's due. Arthur has done an amazing job getting Madame Melba to come here. This would be a big leap forward by us.
Yes, or a complete and utter disaster. If we get this one wrong, we'll all be looking for new jobs by the time autumn comes.
No such luck, I'm afraid. Get this one wrong and Burrows will have us all dragged to the tower. Keeping our heads will be the biggest problem. Mr. Burrows wishes to address the whole engineering department on the factory floor.
Now, gentlemen, settle down, please. I'll make this brief. I have a short prepared statement for you all. I believe it is common knowledge that the famous Australian prima donna soprano, none other than the famous Dame Nellie Melba, has agreed to do a concert here at the Marconi Works in Chelmsford to be relayed via wireless throughout the ether to all our friends out there. This is really a great honour and we must all rise to the occasion. It's the first time anything like this has been attempted anywhere in the world. Gentlemen, we will be the first.
Very good.
I now intend to discuss a plan of action, a campaign plan, if you like, with the heads of department. With everybody's help, we can make it all a great success. Remember, the whole world will be listening. Now, any questions?
So, Arthur, when is all this going to happen? I have heard various but somewhat alarming rumours. Perhaps you could enlighten us.
Yes. Dame Nellie Melba will be joining us on June the 15th for just one evening. Next Tuesday, I believe. She will arrive at Chelmsford Station on the 6:04 train from London, and I expect you to arrange a suitable wireless apparatus system to be ready for 7 o'clock that same evening.
What? Oh, come on, Arthur. Surely you're not serious. That only gives us 4 days to get ready, and that's if we work the weekend.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ditcham. This is the only date the good lady has free before she goes to Europe. We were lucky to get that.
So, do I gather from all this that publicity is running the show then?
No, of course not. This is the chance for you engineering types to show the world what you can do.
Well, that's all very well, but I must make it clear that you will be responsible for all the organisation required. I simply don't have the manpower to manage all this.
Yes, I will arrange everything. Dame Nellie Melba is coming up by train from London in our private carriage. As requested, I have a white Rolls-Royce collecting her for the short journey. I've arranged a small welcoming tour before she arrives at the front gate. She will dine in the director's dining room with her private secretary on a meal of unleavened bread, pink champagne and partly cooked chicken, a special menu she's requested. Then I will show her round the works on the way to the microphone and then on to the concert studio. We should be with you at about 7. I think the concert should start at 7:15.
So how long will the concert last?
I have yet to speak to her private secretary in detail, but I'm hoping for at least half an hour, possibly more.
And what happens if the transmitter breaks down? It's let go once already this week.
Look, Bill, I'm relying on you and your team to get this right. I simply will not entertain any further worries about failure or breakdowns. Now, will that be all, gentlemen? Oh, if so, thank you and see you next week. Good luck, everybody.
I know. But Arthur Burrows is adamant. He doesn't want the illustrious Madame nELLIE to perform in a deserted, cold, old packing warehouse next to the transmitter and that noisy generator. Even if we have to decorate it and carpet it and even damn well paint it.
Really, round old man, we have to draw a line somewhere. I'm worried that this is getting out of hand. I have to say, I think we're in no shape to do all this. Remember that all this began as a simple series of engineering tests for just 2 weeks back in February. It's been interesting and fun, but this is getting serious. Half of Fleet Street's finest are camped outside.
Well, I think it's now got a little bit bigger than asking Marconi stations to listen in to your train timetables.
Just so everyone is aware, I've had to stop everything else and even steal some bodies from research. And there are still a lot of questions we have to answer. What frequency can we use? We have already interfered with half the nation.
Well, I see no reason to change. We will continue to use the Poldhu frequency at 2,750 metres. Actually, I think 2,500 metres. Let's move south a little. It's only for one night after all, and the hams will easily find us.
Well, with 15 kilowatts, they won't be able to miss us. We could light half of Chelmsford with what we are sending out tonight. So really, the only change will be that we don't get the chance to transmit in the morning, just the evening concert, so that we get just one chance to get it right and no setup time. That's just, well, marvellous.
Yes, it's got to be a flat-out effort from everyone.
So, where is the microphone going to be?
Well, the current plan is to clear out the executive dining room on the first floor at the front of the building, put up some red velvet curtains. I think they also want to change the carpet.
That's well over 500 yards to the transmitter, and that's an awful lot of cable to run through the works and corridors. Do we have enough in the stores?
I think so. I'll sign the necessary chits. Arthur's given me carte blanche to get all this done.
Excuse me, sir. We could run the cable straight down the yard and up the back steps. It's only for one night. Hopefully it won't rain and it will save us a lot of cable.
That's not a bad idea, lad, as long as no one goes near them when we're on air. But I still have a bad feeling about all this. The induced voltage has got to go somewhere after all. When we start to transmit, the aerial is right overhead. I just know that something is going to get really warm.
Well, no point in debating it all now. Tonight's test broadcast goes out at 6:30, so we can't do anything with new cables until the morning.
That only leaves us tomorrow to set up the room and test the cabling.
And don't forget that you have to do all the washing up and the bottle cleaning.
Yes, thanks for that.
Apparently Dame Nellie is now most concerned that she won't be able to actually hear her audience or their applause. And she would like some friendly faces around.
It would be nice to ask Winifred, Miss Sayer, to come along.
Yes, lad. I thought you took quite a shine to Miss Sayer. Why not?
We have a big list of dignitaries and VIPs. It starts with the boss, Mr. and Mrs. Essex, Lord and Lady Northcliffe, and it continues on. Well, it looks like a full house and then some.
So, who are we going to get to play with Dame Nellie? I'm not sure that Freddie and the Funyuns would be appropriate. Mind you, poor Miss Sayer had to perform solo.
Well, she is bringing her own pianist, but I've already told Arthur we can't really transmit the piano too well alongside her singing. But apparently that is acceptable, as the power of her voice alone will carry the day. Or so her private secretary says.
Yes, I think we'll have to watch the lady's powerful voice. The distance between her and the microphone will be critical. If we're not careful, she will blast us out. The last thing we need is severe distortion.
Actually, I was going to raise the problem of the microphone. I have some ideas on that myself. but they won't be ready to even try before Madam Melba turns up.
Well, we must sort out that microphone. There's an increasing amount of reverberation when we have large sounds. I have an idea to build some sort of cone around it to protect it. It will keep the piano sounds out as well. Something like this. There we go. One perfectly good but slightly cigar box microphone shielding cone. Mr. Davidson, get this fitted at once. Just tape it on. We'll try it tonight. And if it's all right, I'll get onto the works to make something more permanent, if we have time.
So, Bill, are we going to rebuild the whole transmitter?
Good Lord, no. We don't have the time or enough bits in store. But this last batch of valves is highly suspect. One failed inside the first 5 minutes on Tuesday. I think it had air in it.
Yes, I agree. It simply won't do. I've had a word with the Marconi Osram Valve Company, and they suggest we should change all the output bottles for tonight's broadcast. And if they run well, we'll keep them in for Dame Nellie tomorrow, as they'll be bedded in. So, it's dinner jackets and bow ties for everyone. The engineers, jackets please at all times. Even if it is on radio and no one can see us, remember there'll be lots of press and photographs.
Well, that's about it. I'm afraid, chaps, it will need some more evening work, but there should be time to nip off home for a cuppa and even a bite to eat before we get back to it all.
All right, gentlemen, I think that's about it. Let's do it.
Very well, gentlemen. 5 hours to show time. And tomorrow we will have Madame Melba. I think we ought to test the ship. Mr. Davidson, try the transmitter. Hit the key, press it firmly, and don't let it arc. So. Yes, that's looking good. The power's coming up nicely. Yes, that is good. Whoa! What was that? Quick, shut it all down. Shut it down now.
Mr. Ditcham, all the microphone cables are burnt out, all the way down the yard. There's smoke. It's burnt like a fuse. It's melted, even up the stairs and into the dining room. It's burnt the carpet.
Oh, damnation, just as I thought. It must be the induced current, and it looks like the output bottles have gone south as well. Must be the reflected power. Oh, I wonder what else has gone.
Bill, sorry to interrupt. It's the reporter from the Daily Mail, one of Northcliffe's men. He's been hanging around all day for you. He says he only needs 10 minutes. After all, his boss is picking up the bill.
Not for me, he isn't. And I'm afraid this really is not a good time. I'm just a touch busy. No, it's no good. I'm afraid this is seriously damaged. Arthur will have no option but to move the concert back to the warehouse. The microphone cables have completely burnt out. Half the transmitter is in pieces and there's no way we can protect them. Oh, but we have a problem. Well, several problems. Actually, several technical hitches. Basically, it has all gone bang.
Well, more of a fizz, really.
It's too late to cancel. I can't cancel. We simply can't.
Don't panic. We can rebuild the transmitter. You'll have to move the venue back to the packing shed, including all those fancy trappings, the carpet, curtains, chairs, piano. They'll all have to be shifted. We'll do the microphone.
I already have a couple of lads whitewashing the walls. The smell will have cleared by the time she arrives, but I really can't spare anyone else. But I could borrow some people from... maybe the marine people can help. I'll ring the manager. Oh, if anybody has got a miracle to hand, now would be a good time.
Yes, it's all very good. There were enthusiastic crowds all the way from the station and along the route. There were also a very large crowd outside. They're almost blocking New Street.
Don't worry, the police can handle it. Hey, look, Sharp, here she comes.
Madam Melba, it is a great honour to welcome you to Marconi Wireless Telegraph Company Works here in New Street in Chelmsford. It's a great privilege to have you here to sing for us this evening.
Lord Northcliffe has explained everything on the train. Shall we move on?
No, not a problem. Can I first introduce Captain Round? He is in charge of the engineering team, and of course you know Sir Geoffrey and Mrs. Isaacs, the managing director of Marconi Company.
Hello, pleased to meet you. So, just where is this magic playbox thing I have to sing to?
Madam Melba, the most important part of it all is the aerials. Our aerials, they're all the way up there, hanging between the two large masts. They're very tall, nearly 450 feet high, 18 feet across. There's actually room inside for a man to climb to the top from where your voice will be heard all over the world.
Young man, it's all very impressive, but if you think I'm going to climb up there, you're sadly mistaken. Or shall I leave now?
No, Madam Melba, my mistake. This is wireless. You will sing in a special room with a radio transmitter, and only your voice will travel up those wires to the masts and then across the world. You will not have to climb anywhere or even leave the room to be heard by thousands of listeners in their homes.
Well, that's a good job. I have a terrible head for heights. Just where is this infernal wireless apparatus that I'm supposed to sing for?
Madam, if you would care to step this way. This is the transmitting room where you will sing. I'm sorry about the Spartan surroundings. We have specially decorated the room, put in all these thick velvet curtains and a carpet.
Well, first of all, we'll have to get rid of them. I'm afraid there's simply no use at all. They'll spoil the sound. You there, my good man, quickly now, take all of them down, fold them up and place them well out of the way and be quick about it.
Yes, very good, very good. And of course the new carpet, we put this in just for...
No, it's far too thick. It'll deaden the sound. Roll it up immediately. Take it away. Come now, chop chop. It all has to go.
And this is the microphone. You sing into this cone just here.
Why, this is nothing more than someone's hat stand with an old telephone handpiece hanging from it. And just what are these flap things? Why, they're old bits of old cigar box stuck on. Oh, I hope everyone isn't going to listen to me by telephone. They tried that in Sweden, you know. The quality is really very poor. This is not what I wanted at all.
No. As I explained, Madam Melba, this is wireless communication. Here at Marconi's Wireless Telegraph Company, we do not need any wires. Your voice is sent out by a radio system. Its special waves travel through the ether without any wires. No telephone lines are needed. I assure you that the quality will be excellent.
Well, that remains to be seen. Remember, I have been unhappy about all this from the start. My music and my voice are not subject for willy-nilly experimentation by your wireless wizards. So, shall we eat now? Oh, I must rest before my performance.
Certainly, Madam Melba. Please follow me. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps we could come together just for a short moment for a few photographs?
Good Lord, what was that?
Something's blown.
What, already? Oh, damnation. Quick, switch it off. Bill, what was it? What's the problem? Why are we down?
Something just blew, sir. There was a flash.
No, the transmitter is fine. It was just Burroughs' publicity parade. No time to lose. Get it back on quickly. If we fail now, we'll fail the future of broadcasting. Silence. Quiet, please.
Yeah? We're up, running. Power's good. We're ready to go.
Hello. Dame Nellie Melba, the prima donna, is going to sing for you. First in English then Italian, then in French. This is a truly wonderful evening, but I regret we at Marconi's have no control over any rogue atmospherics. Dame Melba, the floor and the microphone is yours.
Going. So far, so good. I'm a little worried about the anode currents and the voltages look a little strange, but it's all going out very well at the moment.
Good. Keep me informed. It sounds fine, and it really is going very well. The audience is packed in, and the good lady is belting it out.
What's that voltage?
The grid current's rising.
I think the rectifier's burning out. It's not looking good.
It's going to let go.
Sir, the wave meter and the ammeter, they're off the scale.
I know, lad, I'm watching. There's nothing we can do at the moment. Let it be. We'll see what happens. Damn and blast it, why now of all times? It's finally let go. We're not transmitting.
We are definitely off. It's not going out at all. Nothing. It's totally dead. Should we ask Dame nELLIE to stop?
No. Don't upset the good lady. Remain calm and replace that valve. I'll get Burrows to go out there and read the script as planned. No, better still, I'll go myself. I may be able to get an encore out of her. At least we can finish the concert off. And if all else fails, we can always blame the bad atmospherics.
Hurry, lad, get the spare valve. On the shelf, the brown box.
Watch out, it'll be hot.
How? I'm sorry, sir. It's only the old one.
No, come on. Never mind that. Get the new one in. And the fuse is blown apart and melted. Oh, switch it all off first, lad. We don't want to lose you now.
Mr. Ditcham, there's no spare fuses of the right size.
All right, lad. Mark 1 repair kit. Don't ever let me catch you doing this. Pass that screwdriver. There we go. Instant fuse. That won't blow in a hurry.
I will get out there and keep her happy and try to keep her singing. You handle the crowd and the VIPs and leave Bill and the team to do the rest.
Yes, good idea. Good.
I swear that man and I are going to have a serious disagreement one day.
Right, I'm off. I better go and help him. He looks fit to bust. I think it's fixed, Bill. Does look normal. I'm going to take over the mic for a while.
Right, we have it all under control. Well,
Hello, listeners everywhere. We hope you've enjoyed hearing mELBA sing. Madam mELBA, the world is calling for more.
Are they? Shall I go on singing?
Yes, Dame nELLIE Melba. That was truly tremendous, magical, sensational. The world will be astounded, entranced. Would you sing some more for us all, please?
Oh, my good man, I would be delighted. Maestro, shall we go on now?
good morning all. No big crowds outside then like the first news broadcast. Well, a few well-wishers.
Yes, a few people dropped in this morning, and Arthur has a host of journalists arriving from London mid-morning. He may want you and I to meet them.
It says in the paper that the Post Office told the Daily Mail that they have issued over 600 new radio licences in the past 2 months.
Well, at least someone was listening then.
Well done, everyone. It was a triumph, a huge triumph. I'm very pleased. The company is very pleased.
The papers say that the concert was heard all over the world.
They're not far wrong, lad. The Telegraph machine has been working overtime all night and all morning. We have reception reports from Sultanabad in northern Persia, Madrid, The Hague, Sweden, Norway, Belgium, and all over England and Wales. Most of them were only using crystal sets.
We also have a report from a Mr. P.S. Smith on board the SS Baltic, a telegraph message via Poldo. He reports that he heard us superbly at over 1,500 miles out in the Atlantic on a crystal set again.
I hear over in Paris the French radio electric company relayed then received concert to crowds standing in the street using aluminium trumpets. They even made a recording.
Apparently, Mr. Fisk, the managing director of Marconi in Australia, was very disappointed not to hear the concert, but has sent a telegram that states he definitely detected a carrier signal.
Excellent, excellent news. Even Dame mELBA said it was a wonderful half hour. She enjoyed it very much and is very pleased she came to Chelmsford to sing for us.
Has anyone seen the Daily Mail yet this morning? Surely they liked us.
Yes, I have. Hold on a minute. Well, I say, look at this. It's really rather good. Punctually at 7:15, the words of Home Sweet Home swam into the receivers. Those who heard it might have been members of the audience at the Albert Hall. This rendition was followed by Bembert's Nymphs and Sylvains in French, Puccini's Addio from La Bohème in Italian, and Bembert's Chante Venetienne.
Here's one from Melba's personal assistant. Who was that, by the way? Did they come to the concert?
I think it was the small mousy man in the corner. I don't think he said a word to anyone.
No. Actually, she was at the Daily Mail offices in London with the editor, listening in on headphones.
The renown of the singer, the worldwide attention that was given to her performance, and the great distance at which reception was made, all combined to get the mELBA concert the atmosphere of a great initiation ceremony. The era of public entertainment may be said to have completed its preliminary trials.
We still had to do something about the interference, you know. I don't want to rain on the parade, but I had a chap over at Croydon Aerodrome on the telephone this morning. He was not happy. Apparently he lost all ground-to-air communications during the concert. A couple of planes ended up lost in the fog and had to wait until the concert ended for landing instructions. Not good, really. I wonder if Peter Eckersley's mob over at Writtle can sort it out. After all, the Croydon system's their baby.
Not a chance, really. Eck was on the phone as well. He thought the concert was tremendous, but pointed out that most of the marine stations also lost all communications during the concert. He seemed to think that was amusing. You know Peter. Everything amuses him.
So, what's the rest of the story?
Well, some folk think we're bad people.
Yes, according to the rules, apparently, we should have put out the old MZX call sign in Morse code, you know, before and after the concert. Very naughty of us, really.
Well, I don't believe anyone out there didn't realise it was us. We really must do some more. This is tremendous. Yeah. Thank you all for your efforts. Gentlemen, it was a fine evening's entertainment. Yeah. Well done, everybody. And please thank your teams.
The concert was followed by greetings from Queen Alexandra and then from the pioneer of radio himself, Senor Marconi. The future of broadcasting looked even brighter. But then...
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm afraid I have some bad news. It appears we will have to suspend our testing. The Postmaster General, the Right Honourable Albert Illingworth MP no less, has decreed that we have become something of a serious nuisance. Every time we go on air, we pretty much knock out the complete air traffic control network and every direction finding system in the south of England. Most marine stations are also reporting significant interference.
I did suggest that the move from 6 kilowatts to 15 kilowatts may have been just a little bit excessive.
Well, I suppose we had a good run.
So what's the plan now?
Well, thinking about it this morning, I think we will switch the high-powered speech trials over to Southern Ireland. The Ballybunion station is up and running now, and Mr. Illingworth has no sway over us there. But no more concerts. We need to revert to basic testing. Speech transmission is only to be allowed on an as-necessary basis, and no musical interludes.
Well, there's not a lot of listeners in that part of the world anyway, and you know I could do with a break. I think everybody here is getting just a little tired, you know. It's been maximum effort for months now.
So that's it, I'm afraid, gentlemen. Our little sojourn into the heady world of radio entertainment and broadcast is, as they say, complete. Bill, wrap it up as soon as possible. We'll have a chat later about a couple of other problems.
Do we get a chance to say goodbye to our listeners?
Tricky question. I suppose so. But keep it short and don't transmit any music. It's time someone else picked up the baton and started to run with it. We really have done our bit.
I wonder who that will be. You know, I still believe that a national service will be a great success, but there's a terrible danger of it collapsing into chaos like in America.
Well, one day it might even come back to Marconi's.
You never know. It might just happen. And I hope it happens soon, because what we have done here is really important.
Britain's first radio voice, MZX, closed down without ceremony on the 23rd of September 1920. All the radio equipment was moved from the Chelmsford New Street works to Southern Ireland, and the nation's crystal sets lapsed once again into silence or echoed with the monotonous clatter of Morse code. The nation's radio amateurs, backed by popular newspaper support, continually lobbied for the resumption of speech and music broadcasting. Just 15 months later, on St Valentine's Day 1922, the future of British broadcasting came back to the Marconi Company, and it found a new home. In a partly flooded field and an ex-army hut in the small village of Writtle, just outside Chelmsford. The new call sign for the birth of British broadcasting was 2MT, or 2 Emma Talk.
Hello CQ, this is 2 Emma Talk, Writtle testing, this is 2 Emma Talk, Writtle testing. The signal's okay? Wave your hand if it's all okay. No waves at all.
The new Writtle station was run by the irrepressible Captain Peter Eckersley, who, with his young engineering team, were to complete the foundations for the new art of British broadcasting that had been started by Round and Ditcham at New Street. 2MT at Writtle was Britain's first regular licensed broadcast station. It became famous for its humour, spontaneity and groundbreaking achievements.
There may be some jamming. There may be some oscillation. Whew! Sorry, CQ, closing down a moment.
Immediately after the Writtle station closed down in 1923, those same Marconi engineers went off to build the new BBC and British Broadcasting on Savoy Hill. When the Marconi Company abandoned the Writtle site, the by then venerable hut was rescued by another irrepressible character, an ex-destroyer captain from the Second World War and headmaster of King's Road School, Mervyn Jones. The hut then played the part of a sports pavilion for many years and was then moved to the newly formed Marconi Museum at Sandford Mill, where it now plays a central part of the Marconi exhibition in the engine house of the old waterworks. The interior is set up as it was in the days of 2MT. If you stand very quietly, you may, in your imagination, just hear echoes of the great days of 2 Emma Talk. The Wireless Sings was written by Tim Wander. The play was directed by Angela Howard and was recorded and edited by John Rhodes, who was also the narrator. The producers would like to thank Andy Kersey of the Chelmsford Radio Society. The part of Winifred Sayer was played and sung by Kate Smith.
You know, I was asked to go by some people that I knew, so I went. I didn't know anything about it at all. They said, would you come? They wanted a girl's voice, so I said, yes, if you like. I wasn't just going for the fun of it. It was deadly serious. Oh, yes, it was deadly serious. But you know, it wasn't done in a room. It was a store shed in the factory. We didn't do very much. We never had any music or anything. But we were paid 10 shillings each night, and I thought it was marvellous. To tell you the truth, I thought it was an easy 10 shillings. I never thought any more about it, really. But a little while later, I had a souvenir sent by the Marconi Company of the event. They asked anybody who'd heard us to let them know, and they'd made a book of it. When I looked in this book, I saw it had been heard by a ship 1,000 miles out to sea. I couldn't believe it. I thought, good gracious.
Carol Williams was Dame mELBA.
If you think I'm going to climb up there, you're sadly mistaken.
The military radio operator was played by Scott Peters.
Blimey, I wonder what they can dream up. God, they might even take on the musical and try and entertain us all.
Sam Davidson was played by Darren Egan.
Well, you know, my neighbours used to come around and sit around the crystal set and the headphones. You needed a very long aerial wire, and then you had to tickle the cat's whisker. Really, a fine wire had to be gently touched onto the surface of a lead crystal, like galena. Get it in the right place, and the voices came out of the air. It was a kind of magic. It was an amazing time.
Mike Collins was Arthur Burrows.
Excuse me, I have to go. There are so many people waiting to talk to me.
Captain Henry Round was played by Keith Flack.
Well, let's pack this up now.
And the much put upon Bill Ditcham was played by John Elson.
We've started something, and the world was listening to us.